So where we left off, we are going to take a look at another problem. That way you have another example, especially since this one's set up a little differently than the previous one was. So the one we're looking at is number 13 here. So we have g of x equals x minus 2 quantity squared minus 3. So 13 is going, and 14 and 15 are all going to be very similar in how we do these. So like I said, we're doing 13. Okay, so for part A, once again, we're taking g of 0. So we're plugging in 0 for the x. So the 0 goes in for the x. So we're going to have 0 minus 2 squared minus 3. Well, 0 minus 2, sorry, you guys can't see that. 0 minus 2 is negative 2. So we have negative 2 squared minus 3. Negative 2 squared, so negative 2 times negative 2 is 4 minus 3, which is 1. Now we plug in 5. So same idea, we plug in 5 for the x. So we're going to have 5 minus 2 squared minus 3. 5 minus 2 is 3. So it's 3 squared minus 3. 3 squared, which is 3 times 3, is 9 minus 3. 9 minus 3 is 6. All right, now for the next kind, where our g of x equals certain values. So here we have it equaling 0. Sorry, writing on the word. So we're going to take 0 and set it equal to x minus 2 squared minus 3. Now, we're going to add the 3 over. So we have 3 equals x minus 2 squared. Now, how do we get rid of a squared? We take the square root. So we take the square root on both sides. Now, 3 is not a perfect square, so we're going to leave it as plus or minus the square root of 3 equals x minus 2. Now we add 2, add 2. So 2 plus or minus the square root of 3. Now, anytime we have a square root involved, we always want to put our non-radical numbers out front. So the 2, rather than adding the 2 to the end, we always want to put it out front, because if we put it behind the square root, sometimes it gets a little confusing when we write it. So square root of 3 plus 2, is the 2 supposed to be under there and you just didn't draw the line far enough? It makes things a little confusing. So that's why we always put it out front instead of leaving it under. So we have our 2 plus or minus the square root of 3. And the reason we have the plus or minus part here is because when we take a square root, 2 negatives make a positive, which we can take the square root of. So our answer could be 2 negative numbers, or it could be 2 positive numbers. Hence why we put the plus or minus, to show that it could be either 2 positive square root of 3's or 2 negative square root of 3's to give us our 3 originally. Okay? All right, for the next one, same idea. We've got the g of x equals negative 3. So we're going to do negative 3 equals x minus 2 quantity squared minus 3. Same thing, we start by adding the 3. Now in this case, they both cancel, so we're left with 0 equals x minus 2 squared. Take the square root of both sides. Now the square root of 0 is just 0. So 0 equals x minus 2. We add the 2 over. So 2 equals x. So with these, be very careful when you're taking and solving them. So this is one way we can solve that when it's not necessarily something we can factor. If it's in this vertex form, then we can solve it like this. There are other cases, which we're going to get into in our next video, of when we don't have it in vertex form and how we can take and still solve, especially for our x-intercepts like we did in C, because those are x-intercepts there. Okay? All right. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Your keyword is intercepts. Intercepts. Have a great day. Bye, guys.